in Oregon. This is NBC 16 News at 11.
Today was day 6 of the government shutdown, and there's really no sign of compromise anywhere. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Filling in, I'm Alexis Thrower. With many lawmakers still home for the holidays, the Senate adjourned until Monday. With that, the 800,000 government employees are left trying to figure out what to do with themselves and hope they eventually get a paycheck. NBC's Hallie Jackson has more.
Not a creature has been stirring since Saturday in the empty hallways of Washington. But in Virginia,
there you go.
Free knitting lessons for furloughed government workers.
It's out of your hands. Until it's back in my hands, I'll put something else in my hands and go with it from there.
In Kentucky, a plate of barbecue on the house.
We're feeding all the government employees until they go back to work. However long it lasts, it lasts.
And in California, frustration for Nicole Lauer, whose husband is in the Coast Guard and won't be getting his regularly scheduled paycheck Monday.
What do we do after that if the pay doesn't come through? And I think that's what most families are feeling right now, is just that uncertainty of what do we do?
The White House today railed against Democrats and reiterated the president wants money to beef up border security.
It shouldn't be hard to get to where the president wants to be.
Senators on both sides making their cases for a shutdown solution.
It's going to hurt our economy. It makes no sense whatsoever.
But making them from their holiday vacation locations, which says a lot about what's happening in Washington. Nothing.
How long do you think the shutdown will last, Mr. President?
Whatever it takes. I mean, we're going to have a wall.
So what's the way out of this stalemate? Democrats could offer some money for a border wall, a political win for the president. The president could accept no money for a wall, a political win for Democrats. Or both sides could compromise on border security and each declare victory.
No matter what happens, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Congress has effectively adjourned until next week. Now, during the president's surprise trip to Iraq yesterday to visit American troops, there was another surprise. Mr. Trump took credit for a big pay raise for soldiers. He said their first pay raise in 10 years. Turns out there's a problem with those statements.
President Donald Trump told the troops he commands to expect a big pay raise in the new year.
They said, you know, we could make it smaller. We could make it 3%, we could make it 2%, we could make it 4%. I said, no, make it 10%, make it more than 10%.
But on January 1st, troops will only see a pay increase of 2.6, not 10%. And Trump's claim that this year's bump is long overdue, also untrue.
You haven't gotten one in more than 10 years. More than 10 years, and we got you a big one.
Yet according to Trump's own Defense Department, military personnel have consistently received annual pay raises. Even lawmakers from Trump's own party question his math.
But I don't know where the 10% number came from. That's not accurate.
The president also pushed politics in front of soldiers in uniform.
You're fighting for borders in other countries, and they don't want to fight the Democrats for the border of our country.
Rhetoric that some say threatens the military's political independence.
Any president, to include this president, needs to maintain that separation between politics and the military.
China is reacting sharply to a report that the U.S. may bar American companies from using telecommunications equipment made by 2 Chinese tech firms. At a news conference today in Beijing, the spokesperson for China's foreign ministry demanded the U.S. produce evidence of security concerns. Reuters is reporting that President Trump is considering an executive order next year that would prevent U.S. companies from using equipment made by Huawei Technologies and ZTE. This comes as China and the United States plan face-to-face consultations to resolve their trade dispute, which has rocked stock markets. The foreign ministry spokesperson said one should better talk about security issues with facts. A manhunt is on the way for an inmate who escaped from a California prison yesterday night. Authorities say the man, 21-year-old Shalom Mendoza, slipped away from San Quentin State Prison. Mendoza, who was convicted of carjacking, was part of a prison work crew. San Quentin officials reported him missing during a head count around 9:30 yesterday night. Shortly before that head count, someone reported a carjacking at a nearby Home Depot. Authorities believe the inmate is the carjacking suspect based on the information they received from the prison. Volatility continues to rule the U.S. financial markets today, with stocks rebounding from early heavy losses. You'll recall on Monday it was a brutal sell-off in the short Christmas Eve session, followed by yesterday's record one-day gain for the Dow. Eugene financial consultant Gary Feldman says yes, the December losses have been hard to watch, the result of many investor fears.
Where people are, again, afraid of interest rates, they're afraid of the tariff situation that we're having with China. They're afraid of the Fed reducing liquidity. There's a number of factors out there that are in the forefront, but generally none of those lead to a serious economic decline in the United States. We are here.
Feldman says other key signs point to a solid economy, signs that were not present during the 2008 Great Recession. He says 401k holders need not to panic, but keep a good perspective. On to a first look at weather. NBC 16 Chief Meteorologist Carmen Rose joins us now in the Weather Center. Carmen, we are close to New Year's, and I know people are prepping and wondering what's going on in their forecast. What can you tell them?
You know, there's not too much to talk about as far as the end of the new year comes and the start of the new year. It's a good forecast for us. In fact, we're rather calm right now. Temperatures have already cooled down into those low 40s, and we're going to drop another 5 degrees or so. We also have the likelihood of some of that fog developing as we head through the rest of tonight and into early tomorrow morning. We'll keep on seeing some of those clouds all the way through the day tomorrow, waking up to those upper 30s by the time you head out the door again. Could see some spots of patchy fog, and then upper 40s for these highs. Expecting some showers to mainly stay off there toward our north, so we should stay dry across most of the region here for your Friday. Everybody going to be feeling those mid to upper 40s across the Willamette Valley. Low 50s and upper 40s here along the coast with a few more clouds. Also going to be a little bit breezy heading into the weekend along the coast. Now, Cascade travel, we are looking at low 30s, close to freezing over Willamette Pass, Santiam Pass, and Santiam Junction. McKenzie Bridge, low 40s. We could maybe see a few flakes in the morning, but that's going to be about it. The next shot for some of that snow comes later in the weekend. I'll have that forecast for you coming up. Alexis?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Carmen. Now, winter nights are getting colder and colder. If you're thinking of lighting a fire in your wood stove or fireplace, fire officials have a few safety tips. First and foremost, they don't recommend burning gift wrapping paper. They say the key to avoiding a flue fire is to use seasoned or hardwood if you can.
When you start fires in your wood stove or whatever, make sure that you burn it warm or hot for a while, because that heats up your chimney and it keeps that creosote from sticking to the side of the walls of your chimney. A lot of people, they think, oh, we're wasting wood. So no, let it burn for a little bit, then damper it down.
Captain Chappell of Junction City Fire says regular maintenance is the best way to avoid a flue fire. Get your chimney cleaned annually and remember to bury dry wood. Or burn dry wood, excuse me. Now, Christmas has come and gone, and for some folks, Christmas gifts will return to where they came from. This UPS store in Springfield is used to the post-Christmas gift return rush. The owner tells us 2 days after Christmas, it usually is when they get bombarded with returns. However, something new happened this holiday season.
So the first time in history, the biggest return day was before Christmas. And I would like to think it's because more people are ordering things online, opening them up earlier, getting them faster to their family and friends.
UPS says 1.5 million returns were expected before Christmas. The company predicts another 1.3 million package returns in January. The public library in Roseburg is now open for business. After Douglas County closed all of its public libraries in 2017, the city of Roseburg created its own. People now have access to library cards, computers, and meeting rooms. City officials can't wait to show people the new space.
Finally, we get to show them all the work that's been put in on this building, on the materials in the building, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Wiley says the children's room in the library is not open yet, but will be just in time for the official opening on January 10th. With 2019 just around the corner, many Oregon college students are submitting applications for scholarships to help them with the high cost of education. The late Chris Kilcullen of the Eugene Police Department was not only a cop, but a community servant. Since his death, a Memorial College scholarship has been set up in his name to foster that same service spirit. Tom Adams has a story of how one of those funds has direct connections to a Eugene hero and his legacy.
April 22nd, 2011, the date when a big void was left in the community with the murder of Officer Chris Kilcullen.
Chris was a huge public servant in this area, not just through his job as a law enforcement, but also on a personal side.
Christy Kilcullen and family decided to foster that community ethic with the Chris Kilcullen Memorial Scholarship for college juniors and seniors. Christy says the goal here is to create little Chris's.
Other people who are like-minded, other people who want to stay in this community, want to help this community.
Since 2012, the Memorial Fund has helped 7 University of Oregon and Northwest Christian University students become what Christy calls community helpers.
It can be any kind of help, teachers, lawyers, advocacy groups.
Helpers like the very first Kilcullen Scholarship recipient, Kristen Noor.
I paid for school on my own. So having this scholarship, I didn't have a bunch of other scholarships, so having this made it possible for me to continue going to school.
After teaching kindergarten at Guy Lee Elementary School for a few years, Noor is now an instructional coach for the teachers at that school.
I'm definitely passionate about teaching the kiddos at my school, but I'm really passionate about meeting their basic needs as well.
And what would Officer Kilcullen think about this scholarship in his name?
Oh, he would get all red-cheeked and he'd be like, oh, honey. He would be very humble. He'd be very embarrassed.
Applications for the Kilcullen Scholarship are being taken now through March 1st. Reporting in Eugene, I'm Tom Adams.
Community members stepped up to raise $50,000 to set up the scholarship fund. If you're going to be a college junior or senior, go to our website at NBC16.com for the direct link to submit your application. The Saving Grace Pet Adoption Center in Roseburg is a step closer to becoming a no-kill shelter. The shelter had more than 1,200 pet adoptions this year. That's a 10% increase from last year. A program set up by the shelter to help stray cats and an increase in the number of foster families is getting Saving Grace closer to its goal.
I would not have believed that was possible when I started here over 9 years ago, just because of the thousands of cats and kittens that come to us every year.
The national benchmark for shelters to be considered no-kill is 90%. King says Saving Grace could reach that level in the next few years. Coming up next on NBC 16, some people in eastern Iowa are turning to a new way to treat their depression. We'll tell you how after the break. And if you see breaking news, give us a call at 541-393-KMTR or 5687 or send an email to newsdesk@kmtr.com.
At 11.
Some people in eastern Iowa are turning to a new way to treat their depression. Reporter Olivia Schmidt visited a psychiatry clinic in Cedar Falls where they use transcranial magnetic stimulation.
It's made a big, huge difference in my life. Yeah.
Alyssa Prohaski has battled anxiety and severe depression for nearly 16 years. She's tried everything and nothing has worked until now.
This particular treatment to me seems kind of like magic, I guess. There's no side effects, it's non-invasive.
Dr. Raja Akbar is a psychiatrist at the clinic. He calls TMS a breakthrough in psychiatry treatment.
It's very encouraging when we see patients telling us how they are nearly 100% improved and feeling better.
Here's how it works. A device is placed directly on the patient's head. It delivers a series of magnetic pulses. It stimulates an area of the brain related to depression.
It takes about 20 minutes once the person is set and machine is turned on.
Prohaski has been doing treatment a few times a week since October. She says she started seeing results almost immediately.
I was actually engaging in my life again. Not only am I more positive, I have a lot more energy again, which has been something that's been missing for a long time.
Turning to weather now, NBC 16's Chief Meteorologist Carmen Rose is standing by for a look at what's coming up in your full forecast. Hey, Carmen.
Hey, Alexis. Well, we are tracking another round of rain as well as some mountain snow, but we are also looking at some colder temperatures. I'll tell you if they'll arrive for 2019 coming up.
Carmen Rose.
Good evening. It's a little bit cool out there, and we're going to stay on that cool side. Currently, everybody into the upper 30s and low 40s. Traffic moving along, although there's not too much over Coburg Road as we take a live look through our NBC 16 Skycam. Now, latest observations through our ODOT cams will show you that there's a lot less traffic now moving over Santiam Junction as well as Santiam Pass. Not seeing any more of that snow, and we will likely stay dry throughout the rest of the night and through most of tomorrow. Satellite radar will show you a few pockets of those light showers moving in over Newport and also over there toward our north closer to Salem. This is all being triggered ahead of a warm front that's already starting to lift just off the coast of Washington. That's what's going to help bring some more rain there. Now, we are under the influence of this ridge here around this high pressure system, so literally looks like a mountain ridge. That's what's keeping us dry. But this cold front right here, this is what's going to track through as we head into Saturday, and that's what's going to bring us our next shot for some showers as well as mountain snow. Forecast lows for us, we're going to dip down another 3 to 5 degrees here in Eugene and Springfield. Lows into those mid-30s, close to that into Roseburg, where we are already seeing some of that patchy fog. And Coos Bay should just stay mostly cloudy with those temps into the low 40s. Now, heading into Friday, the best shot for any rain at all will remain toward our north and also along the coast. So north of Florence, upward through Newport, maybe a few sprinkles heading into tomorrow afternoon and evening. But notice how little coverage there is out there and how light this is. So not really expecting us to see any of that rain for tomorrow for the majority of us. But things change on Saturday. Earlier in the day, we're good. But once this front starts to move through, approach the region, we're going to pick up some more of this moderate rain across the region and some more snow, a few inches here over the Cascades. Now, your Friday forecast is going to start with some of that fog, temps into the upper 40s and low 50s. Eugene and Springfield. The rest of your 7-day forecast, this is the last one as we head into 2018. So we are going to see some more clouds for tomorrow. Again, most of the rain should stay toward our north. More rain, though, comes later on Saturday. This is when we'll actually see some measurable showers out there, and that should linger on into Sunday, and the rest of Sunday looking good. Cooler temps. Lows are going to be close to freezing heading into New Year's Eve as well as New Year's Day for the mornings. Temps in the mid-40s, though, for afternoon highs with plenty of sunshine. And speaking of sunshine, a very sunny forecast in store if you are heading off to the Red Box Bowl in Santa Clara. We're looking at mid-50s, closer to kickoff right around noon on Monday and staying that way through the rest of the game. The coast, we're building in more of those showers. Again, North Coast could see some more of that rain. Coos Bay, probably not. But we will see more of that rain heading into late Saturday, early Sunday, and then drier and cooler heading into New Year's Eve and heading into 2019 for New Year's Day. Roseburg, same deal, dealing with a little bit more clouds tomorrow and also some fog, then more of that rain tracking through late Saturday night into early Sunday, and of course New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, looking good.
Wow, now as we're going into 2019, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
You know, I would like to reach out more, you know, check up on friends. You hear a lot about mental health and everything too. So I could reach out more.
Oh, that's amazing.
Sure.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Oh, me? Yeah. Well, finish grad school and find creative ways to pay off grad school because that bill is too big to be really happy about the degree. Well, thanks again, Carmen. And after the break, we will have sports.
By your local Ford store.
The big news about Justin Herbert's decision to return for his senior season is still permeating throughout Duck Nation. As for the team and Herbert himself, they're just focused on Michigan State. That was the message delivered by the junior signal caller following the Ducks' second practice in the Bay Area. The decision was made, statement released. Now this week is all about the Red Box Bowl.
It was good to get back out there in pads and the guys after a break, so they looked fresh, and it was good to have a couple days off, so it was fired up.
Definitely we're more focused, and it's due to coaches basically like keep on reminding us that it's not a vacation, it's more of a business trip.
The biggest emphasis on winning this game is just kind of the overall culture that we've been trying to instill through day one. Being able to, if we can come in and be, a big, strong, physical Big Ten team who, plays hard and just, it's just all around talented physical team. I think that'll really cap off this season what we've been trying to do and what Coach Cristobal is, trying to instill the culture.
Hansen also said he is coming back next year, will not go to the NFL. Linebacker Troy Dye said he's undecided on his future. Dylan Mitchell and Shane Lemieux have not clarified their futures. Both have not yet addressed the media. 26 years ago, former college basketball player Steve Garrity started running basketball clinics out of Portland. For the first time ever, he brought his hoop camp to Corvallis, a way to draw a special group of people together. Sports have a unique way of bringing out the fun, competitiveness, and sometimes the very best in people.
The reason that we do it is there's just not a lot of opportunity for those with special needs to get involved in sports.
So for 26 years, Steve Garrity has operated basketball clinics all over the country.
We're in multiple states now, and we're a nonprofit organization. And what's really unique about us is that we're 100% staffed by volunteers. We're all volunteers.
And on Thursday, the Oregon State basketball team assisted in the clinic.
It's great to be able to come and do these camps like this and help the kids and everybody that comes to the camp and just give back to the community.
And how special for the aspiring hoopsters.
It's really exciting for them to be a part of something that's somewhat of celebrity.
And maybe these celebrities will learn a thing or two themselves.
And hopefully, after these events, these athletes gain a little bit better appreciation for the blessings that they have and the abilities they've been given.
Puts a lot of smiles on our faces too, so I think everybody gets a lot of positivity out of it.
There could be some future Beaver basketball players in the clinic, but it's not really about that.
You know, I disguise it as a basketball camp, but this has nothing to do about basketball. It's about inclusion, it's about acceptance, it's about independent living and self-reliance, and trying to integrate people together.
A slam dunk for everyone. For more information on how you can get involved, visit www.hoop.camp. Let's go back to you.
Coming up next on NBC 16, a trip that many of us would never imagine taking, a trek across Antarctica. We'll tell you about one American man's successful journey after the break. Announced he is the first person to cross the continent of Antarctica, coast to coast, by himself, without help. Colin O'Brady took to Instagram to post photos and wrote, quote, "Finish line, I did it." O'Brady said he began his trek at the Ronne Ice Shelf, traveled to the South Pole, then crossed to the Ross Ice Shelf. He documented much of the trip on his Instagram page. He said a wooden post in a background of one of the photos is the edge of the Ross Ice Shelf, which marked the end of his trip. He said it took him 54 days to traverse the continent. O'Brady revealed he covered the final 80 miles in one continuous push that lasted more than 32 hours. Another explorer, Lou Rudd, began a solo trek of Antarctica without help on the same day as O'Brady. According to a website tracking his expedition, Rudd reached the South Pole on December 13th and is about 90% done with the trip. Wow.
Oh my goodness, I don't know how that's even possible.
Wow, I don't either. And it's impressive. It's gold.
Very impressive.
Wow. Well, thank you for watching NBC 16 at 11. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. Wow, that was pretty.